This is Inspector Muffin. I'm joined by Bryant Mumble.
Good morning, everyone.
We're going to just quickly run through the lineups for our respective teams. We have the Ohio Roller Girls, who are ranked 10th coming into these playoffs, going up against the number 6 seed Mad Rollin' Dolls, the Dairyland Dolls of Madison, Wisconsin. Madison will be in their blue uniforms, sporting the cow design on their helmets. Ohio sporting white jerseys with green helmets. The lineups for the Mad Rollin' Dolls: number 3, Twisted Halo; number 4, Mouse; P1MP, Busta Crimes; D4, Magic Missile; 6FM, Inigo Destroya; 9mm, Shenanigans; 10, Sproutin' a Tail; 15, Mac the Knife; SEC9, Major Kusanagi; 27, Wildberry Punch; 65, Blanche Devereaux; 33, Charlie Hustle; 63, Velma Von Tussle; 77, Stank Girl; M80, Thrill Show; 311, Chop Susie; 366, Jean Lane; 847, Hello Sailor; 297, Hazed and Confused; and rounding off their roster is 987, Splatter Alice. For the number 10 Ohio Roller Girls, number 10, Out of My Wayman; number 12, Kitty Lickerbottom; 19, Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker; the captain for Ohio, number 23, Phoenix Buns; number 59, Lorraine Acid; 100 miles per hour Handlebars; 214, Dixie Heartless; number 216, Kilbasa; 1098, Amy Spears; 1993, Bratislava Bruiser; number 5150, Pippi Rip Your Stockings; 5459, Hellion Boy; 0125, Page Bleed; and W2, Wender Woman.
And our action is underway in this first jam. It's going to be Hellion Boy in white for the Ohio Roller Girls, and that's Wildberry Punch trying to make a move for the Dairyland Dolls in blue. She pushes the blockers outside the engagement zone, gets lead jammer status for the Dairyland Dolls.
Hellion Boy now breaking free of the pack. She's able to get around P1MP. That's Busta Crimes, but about 20 feet behind the pack now is 27, Wildberry Punch for the Dairyland Dolls. She's now approaching the last blocker. That's Captain Phoenix Buns for the Ohio Roller Girls. Only 3 blockers to beat, forming a wall for Ohio as Wildberry Punch calls that jam off as she is able to score. We have, I believe, 4 points for the Dairyland, 3 points for the Dairyland Dolls.
This bout brought to you by Dr. Hauschka, the WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid.
On the jammer line for Ohio, we have number 12, Kitty Lickerbottom. She's going up against number 33 for the Dairyland Dolls, Charlie Hustle. Remember, Ohio's in the white, Mad Rollin' Dolls in the blue.
This pack starting off towards the front, not right up on the jammer line like we've been seeing a lot lately. But a little slow to start here, and the jammers are released, and they hit the pack.
Yeah, it looked like number 15 there, Bryant, was a little slow getting across the pivot line, but lead jammer status taking the outside portion of the track is Ohio's jammer, Kitty Lickerbottom. Ohio's pack now of Lorraine Acid, Pippi Rip Your Stockings, and Amy Spears, and Captain Phoenix Buns doing a great job of holding up number 33, Charlie Hustle, in the center of the pack.
They certainly are. There's a nice 3-wall at the front of the pack holding off Charlie Hustle, as now Kitty Lickerbottom is on a scoring pass, and she got held up a little bit as Charlie Hustle clears the pack. Now the Dairyland Dolls trying to claim the front of the pack, make it more difficult there on Kitty Lickerbottom.
Yeah, Brian, Kitty Lickerbottom had an inside lane open, but I think she clipped skates with her teammate, Amy Spears. She had to start back all over at the back end portion of the track. Kitty looks over to her coach, Trip Tease, on the Ohio bench, and calls that jam off after scoring, I believe, 4 points for the Ohio Roller Girls.
So we have our first lead change of this match, which is brought to you by Elemental Technologies, the world's most powerful video processing solutions.
We're seeing Wildberry Punch jam for the second out of the first 3 jams for the Mad Rollin' Doll. She's going up against Ohio's captain, that is Phoenix Buns. 1 skater in the penalty box, and that is for the Dairyland Dolls.
Phoenix Buns has really impressed me in her pack play this weekend. Very powerful blocker, but taking the jammer star here as this pack begins somewhat slowly. And now we are underway. Phoenix Buns find some room on the inside. Lead jammer status for OHRG.
Number 27, though, Wildberry Punch hot on the tail of Phoenix Buns. Be interesting to see if Ohio currently in the pack. They are the last 3 skaters in the pack, so Phoenix may have to call this off before they hit the pack, which is exactly what she does. That's a wash, 0-0. The score will remain 4-3 in favor of Ohio.
This bout brought to you in part by Adam Wheels, the official wheel of the WFTDA. And if you have wheels, you probably need skates. Rydell Skates, proud partner and official skate of the WFTDA.
Number 4, Mouse for Dairyland Dolls, still seated in the penalty box. We have Kitty Lickerbottom for Ohio going up against number 15, Mac the Knife for the Dairyland Dolls. This jam has started. Ohio in white, Dairyland in blue. Kitty Lickerbottom doing a little jammer-on-jammer action with Mac the Knife, but she gets held up in the back of the pack while Mac the Knife is sprinting around the outside portion of turn 2. She has one Ohio skater to beat, and she is your lead jammer.
Mac the Knife able to get through, and Kitty Lickerbottom being held up right now by Chop Susie at the front of the pack wearing the pivot stripe. Now Kilbasa trying to run some interference for her. We get a jammer takeout from Dairyland. Dairyland's going to have a chance here to retake the lead as Mac the Knife makes a nice juke move to the outside, cuts around, and that's going to end the jam there.
Calls that jam off. Brian, did Kitty ever get through on her initial pass?
I don't think she did get through on her initial pass. So it's a grand slam. So 5 points awarded there. So 8-4. We got our second lead change of this matchup.
Number 27 on the line for Dairyland Dolls. That's Wildberry Punch again. She'll be going up against Hellion Boy for the Ohio Roller Girls. We have an all skate out on the track, empty penalty box as this jam is a couple seconds away from getting underway. This is our first bout of the third day here at the 2011 WFTDA North Central Region Playoffs.
The pack crawling towards the front end. They're going to cross the line. The jammers are released. Hellion Boy taking an outside line. She's got some room.
She's got room, but Pippi Rip Your Stockings, her teammates got to be careful because Wildberry Punch coming around the inside portion. She's able to get around Pippi Rip Your Stockings. Someone was called, I believe, to the penalty box. That was a Dairyland Doll skater, the pivot. I'm having trouble seeing her number on her arm, but that jam was immediately called off.
I believe that was on the initial pass. She called it off as soon as she got through. A little confusing why that would happen.
I think maybe she was getting called for a penalty herself and decided to call it off before maybe she got called for a penalty. That's the only thing I can really think of, Bryant. But on the jammer line now, we have Ohio's Kitty Lickerbottom going up against 15 for Dairyland Dolls. That's Mac the Knife again.
And Mac the Knife and Kitty Lickerbottom's got some room around.
Oh!
So she got called on a cutting the track.
Kitty Lickerbottom with a look of surprise on her face. She thought she came through clean. Almost looked, Bryant, like she came through the middle of the pack.
It was on the far side from where we're sitting, so it's kind of hard to see how that penalty occurred from our vantage point. But Mac the Knife now, huge opportunity here for Dairyland in the first power jam, I do believe, of this match.
Yeah, we've got a 2-wall up front of Amy Spears and Phoenix Buns, but they're outside the engagement zone as they've got to let Mac the Knife go. She is the lead jammer for Dairyland as Ohio's jammer, Kitty Lickerbottom, is seated in the penalty box. Dairyland Dolls now have Autumn Wayman for Ohio trapped at the back of the pack.
And here comes Mac the Knife. Now she hits the pack. Go ahead.
Let's say Mac the Knife runs right into the back of Captain Phoenix Buns for Ohio, and the outside official is calling her off for a major fourth minor block in the back. Bryant?
That was a major. It was indeed a major.
Kitty Lickerbottom will be released from the penalty box as soon as Mac the Knife sits down. Here goes Kitty Lickerbottom. She's going to skate clockwise outside the portion of the track, catch up with this pack at turn 3. Bryant?
Madison trying to get their jammers towards the front, but Ohio isolating on one of the blockers. Twisted Halo slowing down that pack.
Good job there by Autumn Wayman, Phoenix Buns, and Dixie Heartless trapping Twisted Halo for Madison as Kitty Lickerbottom comes up to the front portion of the pack. She's looking for a little help from her captain, Phoenix Buns. She's got one skater to beat. That is Chop Susie. Unable to get around her as they're coming up to turn 1 again, Bryant.
Twisted Halo was sent off to the penalty box. Kitty Lickerbottom pushing those blockers outside the engagement zone. Mouse is going to draw a foul on that one for being outside the engagement zone. 5-point grand slam for Kitty Lickerbottom. 3 points awarded to Madison as Madison scored 3 points before the power jam began.
Yeah, Mouse got called there in the pack for hitting Kitty Lickerbottom 20 feet out in front of the pack. So she's going to join a couple of her teammates, including her jammer, in the penalty box. As we have a score update, we're looking at Madison at 11, the Ohio Roller Girls at 9. But we're going to have a power jam situation now for Ohio's Wonder Woman. She's had a tough season, Bryant, with a couple injuries, but we'll see if she can't capitalize on these mistakes here by Dairyland early.
Dairyland having some serious penalty issues. Only 2 blockers out there on the track by their lonesome. Going to try and hold off a Wender Woman here as Phoenix Buns trying to break up that 2 wall at the front of the pack for Wender Woman.
Yeah, it's Jean Lane and Busta Crimes in the pack for Madison. Their jammer is now released as she's coming up to the back end portion of the pack, able to get around Phoenix Buns for Ohio, now working on Adamai Wayman. Lead jammer status goes to Ohio's Wonder Woman now as the jammer 15, Mac the Knife, still working on her initial pass. Bryant?
Very nice block by Phoenix Buns, recycling Mac the Knife to the back of the pack, and a nice jammer on jammer contact. However, we're getting a penalty that's on Mac the Knife, I believe. Back block on that hit.
Yeah, Bryant, she got released from the penalty box, and about 40 seconds later, she picks up another major penalty for a block in the back to the other jammer, Wonder Woman of Ohio. 3-on-3 in the pack now for Ohio. If they're trying to trap one, Mouse was just released from the penalty box. Adamai Wayman and Phoenix Buns see her, recognize, drop back, and now try to trap Dairyland's Mouse.
Very nice lateral movement by Wender Woman, pushing the blockers towards the front. Outside the engagement zone, they have to let her go. We have another lead change. The Ohio Roller Girls retake the lead, 14-11, and Wender Woman is going for more.
Right, Mac the Knife for Dairyland still seated in the box. She's sitting next to Ohio's Dixie Heartless. But we have 3-on-3 in the pack situation now for both teams. Dairyland has 3, Ohio has 3, Dairyland has 4.
You are correct, sir. As Dairyland trying to get their blockers towards the front of the pack, except for Busta Crimes is putting some hits on Wender Woman.
Yeah, and Busta Crimes grabbed Phoenix Buns and pulled her out of her own way. Phoenix Buns does nothing but look at the outside official and say, "Where's the call?" No call there. That jam is called off by by Wender Woman. 2 additional points on that last pass, updating the score 11. For the Mad Roland Dolls, 16 for Ohio, 19 and a half left in this game, as we're going to have an unopposed jammer for at least the first 10 seconds of this jam. That'll be Ohio's Hellion Boy, as Mac the Knife is standing in the penalty box.
I have to ask you a question. Have you been smacked by rollergirlskates.com? You should.
I have not.
At rollergirlskates.com.
Hellion Boy coming through. Madison tried a slow start kind of multiplayer block there right off the bat, but Hellion Boy, her 5'4" frame, squeezes right underneath the clothesline arms of Dairyland Doll. She got called for a minor forearm penalty. She is not the lead jammer, but she is now on her scoring pass 5 feet behind the pack.
Mac the Knife still on her initial pass in her 3rd jam in a row, but having penalty issues. So she's got to be possibly a little bit winded as she's trying to get through the pack. She can still get lead jammer status, but Ohio did a nice job holding her off. She's tangling Phoenix Buns right now. And Hellion Boy on another scoring pass. Here she comes.
She's got one skater to beat this 27, Wildberry Punch, and she does. An additional 5-point grand slam for Ohio's Hellion Boy. And Mac the Knife, like you said, Brian, does have to be careful. She might be a little winded. Plus, she's already been to the box twice, and we're only 10 minutes into this game.
Here comes Hellion Boy one more time. And wait, there she goes to the box again. Mac the Knife, forearm. Is it a 4th minor? It is a yeah, it looks like a 4th minor penalty. Her 3rd trip.
That's an additional 4-point pass here for Ohio's Hellion Boy. And just like I said, Bryant, she's got to be careful with what she's doing out there as a jammer. This is her 3rd trip to the box in what, like 8 jams of this game?
She's got to want to get back to the bench, I think, at this point. But she's going to have to come out on the track one more time at least. As Hellion Boy racking up more points. A big jam here for the Ohio Roller Girls. Hellion Boy gets around Chop Susie. A 4-point. She had one cutting the track minor.
Yeah, Bryant's Wildberry Punch pushed her outside there at turn 2, recycled back, and was able to jump back in front of her. We now have Pippi Rip Your Stockings making her way to the penalty box for Ohio, but Hellion Boy working her way through again for an additional. She passed at least 1, should get 2 for the box. 2 points for the skaters in the box. The referee's going to give her 0 points, though, Bryant.
She got taken out there, and we got a timeout called on the track by the Dairyland Dolls.
Just like that, Bryant, updating the score is 34 in favor of Ohio, 2-11.
That was a huge jam for the Ohio Roller Girls. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank Erie Insurance. They keep you covered with seriously good insurance. We'd also like to thank Spenlin, Outside the Lines, a new kind of T-shirt from Spenlin. And Union Vacation, they are proud to provide the 2011 WFTDA MVP with a 1-week getaway to Mexico. That's Union Vacations.
That was a great job there by Ohio's Hellion boy. I know she got tired there near the end, but she kept skating, kept going forward. Her pack play did a fantastic job of blocking the Dairyland Dolls in the back of the pack and recycling back up to the front. To tell you, Hellion boy, for a 5-foot frame on her, maybe 95 pounds, she really is a physical jammer, very quick, even off skates. I've seen she walks fast, Bryant.
I saw her in the hallway. She was walking quite fastly, quickly, as she gets a lot of work for the Ohio Roller Girls. It's primarily a 2-jammer rotation. They go Kitty Lickerbottom and Hellion Boy on a regular basis, and sometimes they'll throw in Wendra Woman.
Yep.
And Phoenix Buns.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you'll see Paige Bleed come in too if Phoenix Buns has maybe a couple penalties on her docket. But we're going to have an unopposed jammer, another power jam for the Ohio Roller Girls. Kitty Lickerbottom going up with a full 3 blockers in front of her on her own team. We have a small pile up there at turn 1 as Kitty was knocked to the track, but now she's back up at the back of the pack going up against number 9mm. That's Shenanigans.
Kitty Lickerbottom gets through the pack. However, she is not your lead jammer. She had a cutting the track minor as she was going through. So here comes Mac the Knife again. She gets lead jammer status.
She needs to call this off, Bryant. She doesn't see Kitty coming up to the back of the pack.
She did in time.
Oh, she got it.
She heard her bench, and now she finally gets to sit on her bench after several jams of going to the penalty box.
Yeah, and Ohio's coach Triptease and BFF. This is actually an interesting bout. This is the first time, I believe, at these region playoffs that we have 2 teams coached by all women.
I did not know that.
On the jammer line now, we have Paige Bleed for the Ohio Roller Girls going up against Charlie Hustle for the Dairyland Dolls. 34-11 is our score. Ohio in the white jerseys, Dairyland in the blue. Bryant?
It's 3-on-3 in the pack. We're waiting for the jammers to be released. Ohio taking their time to get across the line. They finally do. And we are underway in earnest.
Taking the inside portion of the track is a jammer for Dairyland. She's able to squeeze by her blocker, Jean Lane, and number 33, Charlie Hustle, is the lead jammer. About 10 feet behind her, though, is Ohio's Paige Bleed.
Paige Bleed going to keep the pressure on as this pack reforms. Ohio able to claim the front.
Right.
That's good news for them. It's going to make it more difficult for Charlie Hustle to score.
Oh.
And Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings, did she come out of the penalty box?
Yes, and Dairyland never saw Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings come out of the box. They had 4 blockers behind the 3 of Ohio. They could have easily trapped Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings there coming out of the box, but they didn't see her. They were all on the outside portion of the track looking to assist their jammer, and Pippi just went along the inside, forcing the jammer Charlie Hustle to call that jam.
So a heads-up play by Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings to hustle up in the lane that Madison created for their jammer.
We now have Twisted Halo for the Dairyland Dolls going up against Ohio's Kitty Lickerbottom. Dairyland taking a knee, instantly creating a no-pack situation. Kitty running into the back of Wildberry Punch. No call there by the officials, though, as these jammers come around turns 1 and 2. Lead jammer status goes to Ohio's Kitty Lickerbottom. I believe she's now like 3 of 5 on lead jammer, Bryant.
Ohio doing very well in the early goings of this matchup, as they're getting many lead jammer statuses here, and Dairyland claims the front of the pack. Going to try and keep it difficult for Kitty Lickerbottom to score as they have their jammer charging the pack as well. And 0-0 once again here. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Brian, 0-0 again, and Kitty not happy with that. She thought she passed at least the last pack player there for Dairyland, at least getting 2 points considering there was one still in the penalty box. And Coach Triptease wants an explanation, but she's not going to be getting one here from this reffing crew in the early game on the last day of this playoff tournament.
For the first time lining up today, it is Mouse for the Dairyland Dolls in blue.
Going up against Paige Bleed for Ohio. Bryant Mouse is a very fast jammer. We saw her skate yesterday against the Chicago outfit. Very good and athletic.
She's definitely a veteran out there, one of the original Dairyland Dolls, been playing for many years. But we have a lead jammer. It is Paige Bleed for the Ohio Roller Girls as Mouse gets taken out of bounds by Pippi Rip Your Stockings, but she does clear the pack.
Yeah,
as Pippi Rip Your Stockings went out of bounds as well.
Yep, Mouse got the no pass, no penalty, so kind of a wash. Would have been fortunate for Ohio if Pippi could maybe stay inbounds there at turn 4 where she knocked her out. Paige Bleed calling that jam off as Mouse approaches the back end portion of the track. Didn't see if she got any points, did she, Bryant?
I don't think she got called on a major penalty, actually, for cutting the track, but she did get 4 points.
4 points.
So, heads-up play by Mouse to...
Looks like Ohio's going to start this jam with their jammer in the penalty box here, Bryant, as only one jammer out on the track. That's Wildberry Punch for the Dairyland Dolls. Dairyland now stacking the jammer line with their blockers. No pack situation, Bryant.
Wildberry Punch trying to make her way through. She does get through on the outside. Lead jammer status going to the Dairyland Dolls. And the pack slowing down a little bit. Dairyland doing a nice job slowing that pack so Wildberry Punch can catch back up to it. Nice blocking by Paige Bleed, though, slowing down Wildberry Punch a little bit there. Go ahead.
Captain Phoenix Buns knocking Wildberry Punch out between turns 4 and 1, but number 3, Twisted Halo, hitting Captain Phoenix Buns. And we have a penalty called on the jammer, Wildberry Punch for the Mad Roland Doll. She was just past the penalty box line, so she's got to make her way all the way around the track. And as soon as she sits down there, Paige Bleed will be released from the penalty box.
And then Wildberry Punch will serve the same amount of time that Paige Bleed just served.
Fortunate for Ohio's jammer, Paige Bleed there. That pack was right in front of the penalty box as she was released, so she could just jump right on the track. She didn't have to do any clockwise skating there. As we got two Ohio skaters. Those are their 2 best blockers, Pippi Rip Your Stockings and Captain Phoenix Buns, making their way to the penalty box where they're going to join Dixie Heartless.
Amy Spears now the lone blocker out there for the Ohio Roller Girls.
Paige Bleed needs to get up because the blocker there, 987, that is Splatter Alice, went out of bounds with her. She could have gotten up and continued there at the front of the pack. Unfortunately, I don't think she saw that. Splatter Alice followed her out of bounds, Bryant. Amy Spears now making her way to the penalty box where she's going to join, I believe that's Pippi Rip Your Stockings for Ohio. Dixie Heartless and Phoenix Buns trying to do what they can to help out their jammer, Paige Bleed. Is Paige Bleed able to pass Splatter Alice and number 33, Charlie Hustle. Paige Bleed, I believe that was a scoring pass, or that may have been her initial pass. The inside official has not awarded her any points. 4 points, though, for Wildberry Punch coming out of the box.
As she was on a scoring pass when she went to the penalty box. And 2 points for Ohio for Paige Bleed there. And the score now 30. We're looking at 40-15 in favor of the Ohio Roller Girls.
This is exactly the start that the Ohio Roller Girls needed today. They really thought, Bryant, that they could come in on the first day of this playoff and beat Bruce City as a higher seed. Bruce City, things didn't work out. They lost by 28, got crushed yesterday by Cincinnati. So they want to come out here at least improving their status by 1 in the North Central.
They did pretty well against Bruce City. It was a very tight game for 45 minutes, but Milwaukee took control in the last 15 minutes of play as we see Mac the Knife making her way around. She is your lead jammer for the Dairyland Dolls.
Lorraine Acid getting stuck behind, that is Chop Susie for the Dairyland Dolls. Jammer Mac the Knife about halfway around the track behind the pack as we have 2 skaters, 1 for each team. Phoenix Buns and Stank Girl going to the box. Mac the Knife now making her way back up to the Ohio blockers, Pippi Rip Your Stockings and Bratislava Bruiser.
Very small pack out there for Mac the Knife to contend with.
Another skater being called off. That is Ohio's Bratislava Bruiser as Mac the Knife. There's 4-point pass there for the Dairyland Dolls. That'll increase their deficit. Well, not increase their deficit, but chip away at the lead. 19-44 now, still in favor of Ohio. 2 skaters in the pack for Dairyland, 3 now for Ohio as Mac the Knife gets a whip there from her teammate, has 1 skater to beat. That's Amy Spears and calls that jam off as Ohio's Lorraine Acid hits the back of the track. 3 points for Mac the Knife, none for Lorraine Acid, Bryant.
This bout brought to you in part by Vanilla Derby. Take your success with their Renegade and Straight Jacket boots. That's Vanilla Derby. As well as PDACoolstuff.com. They make what's cool, and that's how they roll. PDACoolstuff.com.
D4 Magic Missile towing the jammer line for the first time today for the Dairyland Dolls. She's going up against Ohio's 2010 Jammer of the Year, Kitty Lickerbottom. Should be a quick jam. I didn't see much Magic Missile yesterday.
She was out there on a somewhat regular basis, so she's definitely in their jammer rotation, and she's getting called on a back block there. Major penalty. So another power jam opportunity for Kitty Lickerbottom and the Ohio Roller Girls with a very small pack out there right now, a micro pack, 2-on-2. And Ohio gets some help, and it's a jailbreak for the blockers for Dairyland as well, 4-on-3 now.
The Ohio pack needs to recycle themselves up to the front, maybe trap one of these girls. Stank Girl just take a spill there for Dairyland at turn 4. The 3 Ohio blockers in the back could easily drop back and trap Stank Girl, freeing up their jammer Kitty Lickerbottom to score some points here, Bryant.
Dairyland getting their blockers towards the front of the pack. They got a nice 3-wall going, although they lose one of their blockers. Now it is Mouse and Stank Girl holding that line at the front of the pack. Stank Girl holding the outside. Mouse trying to sweep out the interference around the outside.
Yeah, and Busta Crimes was actually left the penalty box, but was called back in. I don't know if she served her full 1 minute. Stank Girl, the last line of defense, up against Kitty Lickerbottom. Kitty trying to go outside, cut back inside as they come around turn 2, taking the outside portion of the track around Stank Girl. Stank Girl can't do anything to hold her up. That is a full 5-point jam, grand slam for Ohio's Kitty Lickerbottom. Released from the penalty box now is Magic Missile for the Dairyland Dolls. Bryant?
Magic Missile able to get through on her initial pass, but here comes Ohio as now Stank Girl, the lone blocker on the track. Kitty Lickerbottom only has 1 blocker to contend with. Ohio, their blockers are kind of just maintaining speed. As Stank Girl had to speed up, she got pushed outside the engagement zone.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of effort there by the Ohio blockers, Bryant, as they just basically just wanted to kind of keep up with Stank Girl there and kind of slow it down there to allow the no-pack situation to come to fruition, getting another 5 points for the Ohio Roller Girls, Bryant.
Correct. And in the pack speed, you're not allowed to destroy the pack. There is a speed that is established, and once that speed is established, if you pick up the speed or stop, you are intentionally destroying the pack, or in that case, Stank Girl had to pick up the speed to block, and she got pushed outside the engagement zone.
Wildberry Punch for Dairyland Dolls going up against Paige Bleed for Ohio. Wildberry Punch within a span of about 4 seconds becomes lead jammer as Paige Bleed now is broken free of the pack here at turn 3, but she's a good half lap behind Wildberry Punch, Bryant.
Charlie Hustle creating some havoc in the pack, pounding away on some Ohio blockers. Now they're in isolation. That allows Wildberry Punch to get through the pack for 4 points.
Wildberry Punch may think about calling this off as Paige Bleed is on a scoring pass, and she is right behind the wall of Dairyland Dolls. I'm not sure why she hasn't called this yet, Bryant.
Well, Dairyland has the numbers. It looks like Dairyland, they're behind. They're going to rely on their defense here, and it seems to be working out.
Yeah.
As Wildberry Punch now on her second scoring pass, Paige Bleed on her first scoring pass. Wildberry Punch right through the pack, 5-point grand slam. So now she's going to try for her third scoring pass, I should say, as Paige Bleed still on her first scoring pass.
Nice whip there by Amy Spears for Paige Bleed, as Paige Bleed is able to get around the pack on her first scoring pass for 4 points for the Ohio Roller Girls. Phoenix Buns, the captain for Ohio, last line of defense for Wildberry Punch. Now Amy Spears recycles herself up to the front, and that initiates the jam to be called off by Dairyland Dolls. Number 27, Wildberry Punch, for an additional 2 points for the team in blue.
Actually, it's 2 points for Ohio, as we're waiting for the points for the Dairyland Dolls, 2 for them as well.
I thought it worked out well for me.
Yes, it did.
Twisted Halo going up against Wonder Woman. Score update, 59 for Ohio, 33 Mad Rollin' Dolls. Wonder Woman for Ohio, number 3 Twisted Halo, jamming for Dairyland.
Just over 4 minutes to play in this first half of play. This jam has begun slowly.
We've got 366. That is Jean Lane, and 297 Hazed and Confused, taking their time crossing the pack line there, as we have a wall of 2 skaters for both respective teams. Twisted Halo taking the inside lane, Wendra going to the outside portion of the track. We'll see which road is the better path to take for these 2 jammers, as both jammers making their way up to the front. Twisted Halo, though, stuck behind Bratislava Bruiser and Phoenix Buns for Ohio. And
we got a lead jammer for the Dairyland Dolls, trying to get something going here. Twisted Halo is your lead jammer, but she's got Wonder Woman hot on her tail. And go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, I was going to say, and Ohio has the front portion of this pack, so that's going to force Twisted Halo to call this jam off. Great effort there by Ohio's Wonder Woman. Good job staying out of the box. She's had a little bit of penalty trouble as a jammer getting sent to the box. She did a good job there of staying out of trouble.
This bout brought to you in part by Sin City Skates. Big 5 skate techs. They'll fix your gear or chat about new stuff. That's Sin City Skates. And also Derby Skins. They love to make your hiney shiny. That's Derby Skins.
Towing the jammer line for their respective teams, Ohio has Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker, Wildberry Punch for the Dairyland Dolls. First time we've seen Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker jam for Ohio in this bout. She's knocked out of bounds inside portion of the track at turn 2. Meanwhile, Wildberry Punch being held up by Handlebars and Phoenix Buns.
Phoenix Buns, a name you're saying a lot today, as she is holding that line with she's wearing the green helmet. And we got a lead jammer for Ohio. Chainsaw gets through.
Chainsaw Sass Kicker used very strategically, not necessarily in the full-time jammer rotation, but she does a fantastic job every time she's in there. There was only one time this entire tournament where she hasn't made lead jammer.
Well, that's a heck of a stat. I'm surprised she's not out there more, as Wildberry Punch forces the call off there as we are approaching the 2-minute mark of this first half of play. We're going to see Mouse take the jammer line for the Dairyland Dolls.
She's going up against Lorraine Acid for Ohio. 59-33. 2 minutes left in this first period of play. Looks like Dairyland's going to take a knee, going to create a no-pack situation. Jammers both take off. Nice shot there by Phoenix Buns on Mouse. I'll tell you what, Bryant, even John Wilkes Booth would have been jealous of the accuracy of that shot by Phoenix Buns.
And Mac the Knife doesn't use shots, but she uses her knife and her hips. She's holding that front line pretty well as Mouse able to get through the pack. However, she is not your lead jammer. Lorraine Acid already got lead jammer status, and now she cut the track. So we're going to go the full 2 minutes. I think Mouse a little confused why she didn't get lead jammer status. She was pointing back, but she's now satisfied as it's a power jam as she hits the pack on her first scoring pass here. But Phoenix Buns gets in her way, slows her down, wearing those zebra pants.
Yeah, and it looked like Mouse had a plan there, Brian, but we all know what happens. Everyone's got a plan until they get hit, and that's exactly what Phoenix Buns did to Mouse there, the jammer for Dairyland, as she came around turn 2.
Oh, Mouse sticking with it now, pushing Phoenix Buns outside the engagement zone. Hard-fought 5-point grand slam for the Dairyland Dolls, trying to narrow this gap here as we're approaching the half-time point. And here comes Mouse again on a second scoring pass, making her way around that track.
Yeah, she's about 5 feet away from the pack here. She's already got one grand slam. Phoenix Buns hitting Mouse again. That's just one right after another, and Mouse got called for a minor track cut, and looks like someone got called for a high block as well. Unable to see who that was called on, but Mouse has to has to fall back to the back end portion of the pack.
Mouse on her second scoring pass, fighting hard to get through. Got about 12 seconds left in this jam. And a cutting the track minor on Phoenix Buns. No, it's a fourth minor on Mouse.
She's going to make her way to the penalty box, but this jam clock has ended. We will have Lorraine Acid was released there. She may have gotten called. She get called for a major illegal procedure?
She may have left the penalty box early. That is my guess, as we are at the halftime. The Ohio Roller Girls now realize it is the halftime, and we enter the halftime. The Ohio Roller Girls lead 59-41 over the Dairyland Dolls. Something of a surprise here in this first half of play. The lower seed, the Ohio Roller Girls, putting up a great fight here against the number 6 seed Dairyland Dolls.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2011 WFTDA North Central Region Playoffs between the Ohio Roller Girls and the Mad Roland Dolls. We have an 18-point lead coming out of halftime for the Ohio Roller Girls. And Mumble, roller derby is just like watching the Transformers. There's always more than meets the eye.
And we will definitely see more in this second half of play. brought to you in part by the Dr. Hauschka, celebrating the fresh faces of the WFTDA. Get your fresh face with Dr. Hauschka. And the WFTDA would like to thank the following tournament partners: Green Monster Roller Sports, Fast Girl Skates, Five Stride, Sun King, Derby Supply, Flat Track Revolution, Derby for All, and Nuvo. They'd also like to thank Adam Wheels, the official wheel of the WFTDA, and Rydell Skates, proud partner and official skate of the WFTDA.
Yeah, we've got about just less than a minute here left of halftime as the officials do their second equipment check of the bout. Good jamming there in the first half for Ohio's Hellion Boy and Kitty Lickerbottom. Good job by Wildberry Punch. I would give her the MVP star right now for the Dairyland Dolls. What do you think these two teams, or either team, needs to do better in the second half to improve their chances of securing that 9 seed?
Well, I look at the penalty box and I see 3 Dairyland Dolls sitting in the penalty box, and that has been a huge factor for them.
Is that a problem?
You shouldn't have 3 people sitting in the penalty box at one time, as we're going to start this next half with 2 skaters lined up behind the jammer line. They happen to be from the same team, however, as Hellion Boy is going to take an intentional 4th minor.
That is Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings taking the jammer star for the first time this playoff, this whole weekend for the Ohio Roller Girls. Back when Ohio had 4 intra-squad teams, Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings was the captain and MVP of the team that won the Intra-League Championship every single year for the Ohio Roller Girls. So she's not a stranger to the jammer line, but she prefers to be in the pack now, Bryant.
She has been around for a long time, an original Ohio Roller Girl. Very strong, I've noticed, about Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings. Very powerful player.
She actually chops wood in her spare time for fun.
Just for fun. OH. Yes. Yes, indeed. That's the land of Ohio.
Yes, Pippi is one of the 3 skaters that are here that were on the original Ohio Roller Girls team back in 2005. Amy Spears never missed a bout in her career.
Well, it's glad to see. Well, she's on the bench currently, but she is definitely in this match. Charlie Hustle trying to hold that inside line, not able to do so. Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings gets through for lead jammer status for the Ohio Roller Girls.
Yeah, and Ohio just dropped back and created the intentional no-pack situation. Lorraine Ass is going to serve that penalty as she sits down next to Hellion Boy in the penalty box for the Ohio Roller Girls. And we have number 33 there for the Mad Rolling Dolls, Charlie Hustle, but she's going to take a seat now next to her blocker and her jammer. 5-point grand slam for Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings and the Ohio Roller Girls.
Haysden Contused was the only blocker out there for Dairyland for a little bit and wasn't able to slow things down. And Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings gets hit by Chop Susie.
As Mac the Knife, Bryant. Yeah, Mac the Knife hit her really well there coming into turn 3, but a strong physical. You're not knocking down someone easily who chops wood in their spare time, Bryant.
Well, Chop Susie tried, but she wasn't able to do so. Mouse out of the penalty box quickly through the pack on her initial pass for Dairyland. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, Mumble, it looks like Pippi's just going to try to get through one more time here and call this. She's got 1 skater to beat. That's 3'11", Chop Susie. Hellion Boy needs to speed up, though, for Ohio. She was getting slowly trapped at the back end portion of the pack. 4 points for Ohio's Kitty Lickerbottom, 0 for the jammer of Dairyland Dolls. Updating our score, 73-41, Ohio.
That's a nice way to start the half for the Ohio Roller Girls. And you know what? You can take your league to the next level with Skate Court Roller Derby Flat Tracks. Check out Skate Court Roller Derby Flat Tracks. And also, check out No Mercy, the new book, the new photo book from Jules Axel Adams Doyle. I took a chance to look at it this weekend. It's awesome. That's No Mercy.
Kitty Lickerbottom for Ohio taking the intentional 4th minor, so we'll probably see her jam next here, Bryant. But we have 27 Wildberry Punch for the Dairyland Dolls. Gets through quick and cleanly. She is the lead jammer. She's going up against Ohio's Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker.
Madison getting a little something going here as Ohio blockers are flying around on the track. Here's a scoring opportunity for Madison. Wildberry Punch, who you awarded the first half player for Madison.
Bratislava Bruiser and Phoenix Buns, last 2 line of defense for the Ohio Roller Girls. Wildberry Punch shouting instructions as they come through turns 3 and 4 to her blockers, letting them know what she needs them to do to get her free on this scoring pass for Dairyland.
Nice job by Ohio to get all of their blockers up in the front and allow Chainsaw, Kitty Lickerbottom, to get through. That's not right. That's
Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker.
There's a lot of names in one name. As Wildberry Punch gets through on her scoring pass. 5-point grand slam for Wildberry Punch.
Ohio's blockers did all they could there to hold up Wildberry Punch. Actually did I think a fairly decent job of only holding her to 5, as Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker was trapped in that pack for a good minute and a half.
But she had hard fight and was able to get through, as we see Chop Susie take the jammer line for Dairyland for the first time today in blue. And she's up against Hellion Boy, who has she always does that when she's on the jammer line. She lifts her back foot repeatedly. She's like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
She's like a human metronome there, Bryant, as the Madison faithful that made the trip here from Madison, Wisconsin, doing the old Indian chop like at the Atlanta Braves games for just chanting chop, chop, chop. Jammers take off now, Bryant.
Dairyland claiming the front of the pack. They've got 2 blockers all the way at the front. And Hellion Boy now trying to make her way towards the front. Pippi Rip Your Stocking running interference for her. And Phoenix Buns holding off Chop Susie at the back of the pack for Ohio.
Right, Hellion Boy looking for a little help from Autumai Wayman, and Pippi Rip Your Stockings is right behind her is Chop Susie, but not. Both jammers break free of the pack, but lead jammer stats does go to Ohio's Hellion Boy. Ohio has their blockers up front, except for Lorraine Acid. Dairyland has 3. Hellion Boy calls that jam off, seeing that Chop Susie was going to score some points maybe ahead of her.
And Chop Susie had some giddy up and was able to pass Hellion Boy as both jammers are making their way around the track. As we line them up again, we're going to see Charlie Hustle for the Dairyland Dolls in blue.
Going up against Ohio's Kitty Lickerbottom. Like we said maybe before that, 2 jams ago, Kitty picked up her intentional 4th minor, went to the box. Thought we were going to see her the next jam. We saw Hellion Boy instead, but we now have Kitty Lickerbottom towing the jammer line for the Ohio Roller Girls.
And we have an official timeout, and why don't we thank RollerGirlsSkates.com. Check out RollerGirlsSkates.com. As well as Talk is Cheap. Take it to the track. Check out their website, Talk is Cheap.
We have an official timeout. Update the score for you with 25 minutes left in this bout. The Ohio Roller Girls still with the lead, 73-46. Mad Roland Dolls played very well here at the 2011 WFTDA North Central Region Playoffs. Much better, Bryant, than their 1-6 record indicates. All the teams they played this season made the regional tournament.
Well, Dairyland Dolls, they play a very tough schedule every year. I believe last year they came in at 2-7, if my memory serves, when they came into the regional in 2010. And they made it to the championship round in 2010 with a regular season of 2-7. So a tough schedule there on a regular basis for the Dairyland Dolls. One of the original WFTDA members.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of the level of competition that Madison has played this year, their losses came to Minnesota, Detroit, Naptown, Arizona, Charm City, and Carolina. To even hang with those teams speaks volumes in and of itself. They do have a victory over Brew City, who is also here and will be skating, I believe, in our next game, Bryant?
Yes, indeed. That next game will be
Cincy
against Cincinnati. That'll be for 7th place at 11:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Looks like these officials, Bryant, have gotten everything squared away. We are going to see, again, Kitty Lickerbottom going up against number 33, Charlie Hustle for Dairyland. Dairyland Dolls, Mad Roland Dolls in blue, Ohio Roller Girls in the white. No pack situation here as the Ohio Roller Girls took a knee right off the bat. Kitty Lickerbottom running into the back of 2 Dairyland Doll blockers as Pippi Rip Your Stockings does what she can to hold up Charlie Hustle. Kitty Lickerbottom taking the outside portion of turn 4. Charlie Hustle right there with her, but Autumai Wayman puts a shoulder into the chest of Charlie Hustle. Someone's being called off for a major penalty, and that is the Dairyland Doll jammer, Charlie Hustle. She's got to hustle her way, Bryant, to the penalty box.
A big opportunity for the Ohio Roller Girls to extend their already somewhat comfortable lead as 3 blockers are going to try, and now they're a 4th blocker entering the pack from the penalty box for Dairyland, going to try and kill this penalty.
Sorry to shout into the mic there, but Pippi Ripperstocking's Kitty Lickerbottom, the jammer for Ohio, was knocked out of bounds by 366 Jean Lane. Play a little cleanup duty was Pippi Ripperstockings, came in and just destroyed Jean Lane. Now Kitty Lickerbottom gets a whip from Amy Spears, and she is traveling faster than small town gossip, Bryant.
Ohio doing a very nice job of slowing this pack down. Right now they're isolating on one of Dairyland's blockers, slowing that pack down, but she makes her way towards the front. And here comes Kitty Lickerbottom again on a second scoring pass here for the Ohio Roller Girls.
There's Jean Lane, Twisted Sister, up at the front portion of the pack for the Dairyland Dolls, but not until Kitty Lickerbottom able to break free thanks to a nice block. She's going to go to the penalty box, but out of my Wayman on that penalty sprung Kitty Lickerbottom free for another additional scoring pass. And Kitty Lickerbottom comes around turn 3. No one looked to the inside portion of the track. She just walks right by everybody, and she's got an additional grand slam, Bryant.
Madison had their eyes looking towards the outside, and she was able to get through on the inside. Charlie Hustle comes out of the penalty box and right back in. Just a few seconds after coming out, Charlie Hustle goes back to the penalty box, a back block.
Yeah, Bryant, I didn't see exactly what happened, but it looked like Charlie Hustle ran into the back of her own skater, who in then turn ran into the back of captain for Ohio, Phoenix Buns. I don't know if you can get a transition penalty if you hit your own skater into the back of another player, but it looked like she ran right into the back of her own skater, Jean Lane.
If you would like to converse with us on Twitter, you can hashtag Talk2WFTDA, and that's the number 2, Talk2WFTDA. And Left for Sped says, time to wake up with coffee and Derby donuts. Good morning, Left for Sped.
Looks like we're going to have Bryant's an official timeout here as the coach for the Dairyland Dolls wants an explanation of how her jammer, Charlie Hustle, can pick up a major penalty for slamming into the back of her own skater.
Oh, yes, indeed. That is a good question that Mouse is asking, I'm sure. We'd like to thank Dr. Hauschka. They are WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. And we would also like to thank Elemental Technologies, the world's most powerful video processing solutions. That is Elemental Technologies. And also, I have trouble with this one, where you will get hit in the mouth with a little bit of South, Paparoo. He should hit me in the mouth, I got to say. I've been having trouble with his read this weekend.
92-46 in favor of Ohio. They had a slight lead, within a jam lead coming out of halftime. They've now opened it up into a comfortable but still manageable deficit for the Mad Rollin' Dolls.
And this weekend, if you'd like to get some DVDs for this tournament, you can purchase those for $15 for each match. And you can get the entire weekend for $200 if you want to go ahead and get the entire package of 17 bouts for a mere $200 to study and learn. I know we've had a few classics. A lot of people probably missed it, but the very first bout of the tournament was a classic, and we're gonna get a rematch. We had the outfit and the arch rival game went down to the very last jam. It was a crazy last jam. 3-point victory for arch rival as both jammers went to the penalty box in the very last jam. But we will get a rematch of those two teams later on today in the 5th place bout. We will see arch rival and the outfit in the rematch.
Yeah, Bryant, I was going to say, talk about two teams that are tired of seeing each other this season. This will be the 4th time the arch rival has played the Chicago outfit. First time was at Brouhaha. Arch rival took them down easily. Chicago winning the rematch at home. And now the first game of the tournament here went in favor of arch rival again. So this will be number 4.
A rivalry epically in the making. And we are underway here again. It is Hellion Boy jamming for the Ohio Roller Girls in a power jam opportunity. Dairyland with a 3-wall at the front, trying to hold her off.
Trying to see who that skater is that's holding her up. That's number 27, Wildberry Punch. We just saw her jam. Now she's in the front portion of the pack. Lead jammer status, though, does go to the Ohio Roller Girl skater. Hellion Boy wearing the rec specs in her spare time. She flies biplanes.
Well, that's interesting. During that timeout we had from the referees, Madison was contesting the back block called on their jammer. The call stands. As this power jam continues, Hellion Boy contending with Chop Susie. Kilbasa trying to run some interference for her at the front of the pack.
Yeah, Kilbasa, a transfer skater from Burning River Roller Girls up near Cleveland, Ohio. And the Ohio Roller Girls have slammed on the brakes as they have a skater trapped for the Dairyland Dolls. That is P1MP, Busta Crimes. Kilbasa, though, being sent to the penalty box. Released from the box, though, is jammer Charlie Hustle.
And Charlie Hustle trying to get through on her initial pass, but Ohio holding her in. Right now, Phoenix Buns, the last line of defense for Ohio. Charlie Hustle able to get through, but Hellion Boy through on a scoring pass. We'll see how many points. I believe that was a scoring pass.
Yes, it was.
There are the points being awarded.
5 points. Grand slam for Hellion Boy.
So they're extending their lead bit by bit, looking very comfortable here with 21 minutes left to go in this bout here.
An Ohio Roller Girl jammer there, Hellion Boy, basically just did the smart veteran move and just kind of followed Charlie Hustle around the track, eating some of that time. She was able to take off about another 25, 35 seconds for the Ohio Roller Girls.
We'd like to thank Dr. Hauschka, WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. Check out their amazing bruise healing and skincare products. That's Dr. Hauschka.
Number 3, Twisted Halo, towing the jammer line for the Mad Rolling Doll. She's going against Ohio's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's got to be careful here not to pick up any major penalties here as a jammer. She kind of falls into traps, picks up a lot of back blocks as a jammer. But right outside, going around the outside of turn 2 is going to be Twisted Halo. Not unable to get through yet, though, Bryant.
Twisted Halo gets taken out by the Ohio blocker. Who was that?
Handlebars, 100 miles per hour.
Nice block by Handlebars there. As once again, Handlebars trying to hold that front line. Wonder Woman gets through.
Yeah. Should be lead jammer. There she goes. She gets the signal now from the inside official. Wonder Woman is the lead jammer for Ohio. Handlebars has to let Twisted Halo go there as she was outside the engagement zone. Ohio now is a wall up front at the pack. Wonder Woman getting 1 point now for passing 297, hazed and confused.
And she only had one blocker to beat as the jam ends 3 points. As Mac the Knife did not get scored on, but 3 points more for the Ohio Roller Girls, bringing their total to, I believe, 105 to 46 in favor of OH.
Fantastic job there by Ohio's pack, freeing up Wonder Woman there to get through. Good job also, we say her name a lot, but Phoenix Buns really slowing down the jammers for Dairyland. Thought maybe during halftime they could have figured out a way to neutralize her, maybe even putting 2 bodies on her and freeing up. Ohio doesn't have weak pack players, but, maybe focusing on someone else.
Phoenix Buns definitely a core member of that Ohio pack right now. And she's not in there now as we get a lead jammer from Dairyland. It's Wildberry Punch able to get through the pack for lead jammer status.
She's going up against Ohio's Kitty Lickerbottom. Kitty Lickerbottom still stuck on her initial pass at the back end portion of the track, right around behind number 10, Sprouting a Tail. 10 feet from the pack, though, is the jammer for Mad Rolling Dolls.
And Kitty Lickerbottom at the front of the pack, getting held up by Mouse, the veteran for Dairyland Dolls, doing a nice job holding that front line so that Wildberry Punch can get through for a 5-point grand slam.
Kitty Lickerbottom still stuck behind her teammate Handlebars, looking for a whip. Ohio now, pack players slamming on the brakes, trying to trap. That is P1MP, Busta Crimes. Kitty Lickerbottom has one skater to beat, which is Mouse, unable to do so. Here comes her teammate Pippi Rip Your Stockings for little assistance.
And here comes Wildberry Punch on another scoring pass here. She's got a lot of Ohio girls to contend with. They're doing a nice job on this pass, holding her up.
Looks like Wildberry Punch might be getting called off. She got called for a high block, a block to the head on Ohio's, looks like Lorraine Acid, number 59. That's going to free up Kitty Lickerbottom, but she is still on her initial pass with 35 seconds left in this jam.
Madison doing a nice job holding Kitty Lickerbottom in this jam here. It's going to be difficult for her to score any points. However, with every second that winds off the clock, that's good news for Ohio. And Mouse got tangled up. It's a low block. Her skate clipped the skate of Kitty Lickerbottom.
Yeah, she's not happy with that call, but it was pretty obvious.
I don't think it was intentional or anything, right. But the skates just connected there.
Yeah, we have the jammer and 2 blockers now in the penalty box. And like we were talking off mic during halftime, Bryant, you know, the penalty situation is really what is nipping the Mad Rolling Dolls in the bud here.
This is exactly how we started the half. We had 3 skaters sitting in the box for Madison and 0 in the box for the Ohio Roller Girls, and that's been a big story here in this match between these two teams as we see Hellion Boys, goggles affixed, ready to go, stomping that back foot.
We have a instant no pack situation here. Is Autumn Wayman is the, oh, here she goes. She crosses that pivot line now, throws a shoulder in one of the Dairyland Dolls blockers. Oh, and just like a grade school dance, half the pack was outside, half the pack was inside. Hellion Boys split the middle.
That was a nice job by Ohio to get the 2 blockers pushed to the outside in this minivan jam. 2 in the front, 5 in the back. That's a Minnesota term.
Yes, Chop Susie there 20 feet out in front of the pack. She had to let Hellion Boy go, as Hellion Boy is now on her 2nd scoring pass, released from the penalty box, is 27. Wildberry punch for the Dairyland Dolls. So now both jammers out on the track. Bryant?
Well, that's good news for Dairyland. It's nice that they have their jammer out there. If they're going to come back in this one, they've got no more power jams for them if they're going to be able to get back into this one. As time a-winding, we're approaching the halfway point of this second half of play between the Ohio Roller Girls leading 114 to Dairyland Dolls 52.
We're going to see Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker again, jammer for Ohio, shooting up against Mac the Knife, as we only have one skater left. That's still Mouse for that major tripping call on jammer Kitty Lickerbottom last jam.
We see only 2 blockers out there once again for Dairyland. 3 on 2 in the pack. This jam has begun slowly. And Madison waits a little bit. They get Mouse back out on the track, and now they look like they're about ready to start it off. Ohio's content to wind the clock, it looks like.
Almost a illegal procedure there on Sass Kicker, but she held up and let the jammer Mac the Knife go for the Mad Rolling Dolls, and it pays dividends as Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker able to take the inside portion of turn 2 and pick up lead jammer status. Mac the Knife now has Autumn Wayman to beat for Ohio, and she has now done so. So both jammers on their first scoring pass, Bryant.
If Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker allows that, as she is their lead jammer, she can stop the jam whenever she wants by placing her hands on her hips. As Texas Chainsaw Sass.
Yeah, she may need to do so now, Bryant, but Coach Triptease for Ohio telling her to call that off after both jammers picked up 2 points.
A little late on the call off there for Chainsaw, but once again, clock winding, and that is the most important thing, is they have a 60-point lead. Pretty comfortable here for the Ohio Roller Girls.
Yeah, and that experience will come with time, Bryant. Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker actually joined the league 3 years ago, but a series of events, illnesses, as well as a child. This is actually her first season skating.
Yeah, that is it's an injury that happens sometimes, having a child.
20, go ahead, Brian.
Wildberry punch jamming for the Dairyland Dolls. She gets through for lead jammer status.
Kitty Lickerbottom held up at the back of the pack from the Dairyland Dolls blockers. They're doing a great job knocking her outside of the track between turns 2 and 3.
And a huge hit from Busta Crimes.
She will steal your heart and your hubcaps, Bryant. That was brutal.
She definitely had that was a crime there. That hit. It was legal, but definitely a crime.
Kitty Lickerbottom now through on her initial pass. She is eligible to score. We'll see if Wildberry Punch calls this jam off, as Kitty Lickerbottom needs to just speed up. She's worried about what her coach is saying. She can score points here. She scores points. Wildberry Punch never called that jam off. She's going to try to score some more for herself.
She's trying to rely on her team here, as she's had her second scoring pass. So it's 8 to 4 in favor of Dairyland in this jam, as Wildberry Punch trying to keep, and she's going to rely on her defense. They're trailing. They've got to do what they can to get back into this, that she's going to take advantage of having the lead jammer status while she has it. And so that's 3 scoring passes for Wildberry Punch. 5-point grand slam there.
13 to 4 in favor of Wildberry Punch on this jam. I don't know if anyone told her, but Kitty Lickerbottom scored 117 points in a game against Hard Knocks earlier this year in Columbus, Ohio. 4 points now for Kitty Lickerbottom. So 13 to 8.
Another 4 for Wildberry Punch. So it was 4 scoring passes to 2 scoring passes in favor of the Dairyland Dolls.
17-8.
Yeah.
17-8 in favor of Wildberry Punch on that, Bryant. Go ahead.
So relying on her defense seemed to work a little bit in her favor as the Ohio Roller Girls still leading 124-72 over the Dairyland Dolls.
Yeah, Bryant, there was a little bit of confusion there coming off the Dairyland Dolls bench as no one knew who was going to jam. Finally, Mouse just grabs the star, throws it on her helmet, and runs out there, and looks like she is going to immediately pick up lead jammer status for Madison here in the Dairyland Dolls. But 10 feet behind her is Hellion Boy. Both jammers now on their first scoring pass.
Both jammers working their way around the track. Only one blocker down for Ohio. Mouse relying on her defense a little bit. She hits the pack. She gets 2 points. I'm trying to see, did Ohio score? We're waiting for the call there. I'm not sure, but 2 points for them as well. And the high-quality stream on WFTDA.com is now $10 for the remainder of this playoff Sunday, Championship Sunday.
That is a great deal, Bryant.
Yeah, it's the last day. $10 for the stream, the high-quality stream on WFTDA.com. It is a beautiful sight to see.
Yeah, and think of the games you're going to see. You're going to see the third-place game.
And also you get the archive, the 90-day archive. You get to watch every bout from the entire weekend for 90 days. So definitely a valuable thing for only $10 on WFTDA.com.
Does Dairyland have too many skaters out there? No, they have one in the box, 3 pack players. Officials calling an official timeout here, but just think about the games you're going to see today for only $10. You know, we have the championship game, which is going to be Windy City versus Minnesota, and I mean in a consolation game for the third place, and the last bid to the championship is going to be Detroit and Naptown, seeds 1 through 4, making it to the semifinals.
So we're going to see a new team in the championship this year as opposed to last year. Either Detroit or Naptown will be the new team. Detroit has been to the championship before. Naptown has never been there, but the home team definitely wants to get there.
The Ohio Roller Girls pulled jammer Kitty Lickerbottom off the jammer line. They've replaced her with Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker. I can't say I don't blame them. Kitty's done a great job, but Sass Kicker's been 2 for 2 so far this bout, getting lead jammer status.
That's a pretty good stat. 100% getting lead jammer status. You might as well work with that. And we are underway here again. Madison taking a knee, getting that jam started right away. They don't want any more time to wind off the clock than they have to as Wildberry Punch gets lead jammer status for the Dairyland Dolls.
Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker getting beaten like a piñata here, coming around turns 2 and 3 as number 10, Sprouting a Tail, has just had her number coming around the portion of the track in 33. Charlie Hustle taking out Ohio's Lorraine Acid, but a 5-point grand slam for Wildberry Punch and the Madison crew.
That last time out from the officials, they were figuring out that Phoenix Buns had her 4th minor, and she had to go to the penalty box. And we got a power jam here as Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker going to the penalty box. Wildberry Punch already had lead jammer status, so Dairyland can get a little something going here, down 46 points in the last 10 minutes of play. Can they rally late?
Yeah, and Brian, it's going to be up to the pack of Ohio with Bratislava Bruiser, Amy Spears, and Lorraine Acid to try to hold up Wildberry Punch. They're able to do so for about 15 seconds, but Wildberry Punch now breaks free in front of the pack, and Bratislava Bruiser for an additional 5-point grand slam here in Dairyland.
Got to give some credit to Charlie Hustle. She was able to open that door for her jammer there. As now here comes Wildberry Punch on another scoring pass. We got some directional play minors being called on the pack, and Ohio with a 3-wall at the front, holding on the Wildberry Punch. Phoenix Buns, that's going to be outside the engagement zone. Major on Phoenix Buns, but it is holding Wildberry Punch in the pack, and Wildberry Punch gets through, calls it off. 5 points, a pretty big jam there for the Ohio Roller Girls. I'm sorry, the Dairyland Dolls, now trailing 126-90, now down 36. That is manageable.
Yeah, very manageable for the Dairyland Dolls. And with Mouse on the jammer line and the jammer for Ohio, Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker in the penalty box, this is a critical jam for both teams. If Mouse is able to get lead jammer stats and maybe pick up 10 points here, this could swing things very much in favor of the Dairyland Dolls.
This is the charge that Dairyland is going to try and pull off here. They seem to have the momentum now. We'll see if they can build on it. As Texas Chainsaw Sasskicker comes out of the penalty box, Dairyland didn't know she was out yet and able to get through for lead jammer status, but Mouse gets through as well. She's about 20 feet behind her.
Mouse pleading with the official. She wanted a high block on Ohio's Kilbasa. Call her the Pounding Pollock out in Columbus, Ohio, as she's one of 2 skaters for Ohio that have Polish food names. The other being Pearl Rogi, who's not skating today.
That's important in Ohio.
Yes.
Polish food is very important in Ohio.
Yeah, Mouse is really looking for that high block call. Unfortunately for her, she didn't get it, and Texas got the lead jammer status.
And that was a 0-0 jam, but the clock continues to roll. That was a minor victory there for Ohio as Chop Susie jamming for Dairyland against Hellion Boy. And Chop Susie right through, no time wasted to get lead jammer status. And now Dairyland goes into complete defense mode. Hellion Boy gets ridden out of bounds by Charlie Hustle. And we got a block to the head on someone out there.
Kilbasa.
That's Kilbasa.
Yep, she got the call now. Maybe make a call. It looked like Chop Susie had gone a little low, and Kilbasa. Oh, but no, Chop Susie is being called for a track cut. So she is being sent to the penalty box. Hellion Boy now finally breaking free on her initial pass. She's on her first scoring pass, and this was big for Ohio.
That was big. They stopped the momentum shift with that one. Although they don't have much help on the track,
no.
Lead jammer status is really all they need right now. They can kill Blasa, the lone blocker out there. Hellion Boy really doesn't need to score. She doesn't need to fight too much. She's definitely going to try and score. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, she needs to be careful, though, so she doesn't pick up any kind of penalties. Looks like she's got Stank Girl and Charlie Hustle calling they're going to call that is Stank Girl out of play. So she's going to be making her trip to the penalty box where she's going to join Busta Crimes and their jammer Mouse. And 5-point grand slam. Go ahead, Bryant.
The Ohio Roller Girls pulling away as the pack continues to shrink. It's 2-on-1 in the pack right now. Charlie Hustle, the lone blocker for Dairyland.
Mac the Knife is going to be sent all the way back around the track as the penalty box was full, and an ongoing chronic problem here for the team from Madison. Released from the penalty box, though, is the jammer for the Mad Roland Dolls, but not after an additional grand slam for Ohio's Hellion Boy.
And she seems to be killing clock here. She's not really speeding around the track. She's pretty content to hang out and kill some clock as Chop Susie's on her initial pass for the Dairyland Dolls. And we're winding down to the end of this jam. 2 minutes have concluded. Big jam there for the Ohio Roller Girls.
Looks like Chop Susie got 4 points. The referee awarding her 4 points on that jam.
Well, she had her initial pass apparently before she went to the penalty box.
It had to have been. We have a timeout. I'm not sure if this is an official timeout.
We're still within the 30 seconds, so I think they're trying to get things straightened out before the 30 seconds between the jams expires. And it seems...
Well, the coach for Bruce City is just standing on the infield speaking with one of the infield officials as she wants an explanation of what's going on with, I believe, the penalty situation here in her squad. But we're going to see Phoenix Buns, the captain for the Ohio Roller Girls, going up against Wildberry Punch for the Mad Roland Dolls.
If you'd like to interact with us today, you can do so on Twitter at hashtag #TalkToWFTDA. That's the hashtag talk, the number 2, WFTDA. And our broadcast crew will be reading those tweets, and we will read some of those on air. Good morning to everyone around the world. You are watching WFTDA and the North Central Region Playoff in Indianapolis, Indiana. And Dairyland's now going to call a team timeout, as that was an official timeout.
Yeah, it didn't look like Bryant. It didn't look like Coach for Dairyland was very happy with the explanation that she received from the officiating crew here. So she's going to just take a timeout on her own. You know, you can't take them with them, so you might as well use all 3. They still have 1 left at their disposal, maybe saving it for the end of the game if they can get within a maybe 1 or 2 point jam here. But they're going to work things out right now on the bench. As Wildberry Punch, though, I can probably safely assume is going to stay out there as jammer. She's done a phenomenal job for the team in blue.
She's been, I believe, the highest point scorer out there for the Dairyland Dolls. We don't have official stats, but just from watching the bout here, a lot of points scored by number 27 in blue.
Yeah, and Ohio is actually using this opportunity to go over the penalty board, so they make sure none of their, I guess you could say, star skaters, find themselves in the penalty box.
They just have to remain stable and on the track at this point, and they should be A-OK with under 5 minutes left to go and I can't do math. Is that a 38-point lead?
Sure. Yes, 38. And Ohio's going to have a difficult time here right off the bat, though, as they have two skaters. That's Kielbasa and Handlebars in the penalty box. Captain Phoenix Buns still looking for a little explanation, doing a little more chit-chat with her coach, Trip Tease, at the Ohio Roller Girl bench, but she takes her place back behind the jammer line right to the left of Wildberry Punch and the Dairyland Dolls.
And as we're getting things sorted out, Mac the Knife takes a seat in the penalty box. And there's some discussion with Kielbasa in the penalty box. She
received an additional.
Did she get 2 minutes?
It looks like they added a 1 minute penalty for a illegal procedure. A lot of puzzled looks in that penalty box, but
isn't it? I was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything.
It's never me.
I didn't do anything.
Someone needs to name themselves not me, or it wasn't me.
Yes. And it is Phoenix Buns jamming against Wildberry Punch. Both jammers getting through, but Wildberry Punch just gets lead jammer status, immediately calls it off, trying to save as much time as she could because Phoenix Buns was right in front of her. And Wildberry Punch is going to stay right out there, as does Phoenix Buns.
Yeah, that wasn't much of a jam there. Wildberry Punch kind of was forced into calling that jam off right away as Phoenix was able to get a couple steps ahead of her. But we're going to see both these jammers. It looks like no changes in the pack as we have two skaters from both teams in the penalty box.
It does change the clock, however, as it continues to roll. We're approaching the 4 minute mark. Things looking good for the Ohio Roller Girls. Dairyland trying to get a late bout rally here. But slow off the jammer line is Wildberry Punch.
Yeah, the slow start's not going to help Dairyland Dolls, though, but Phoenix Buns gets knocked out of bounds. The inside portion right off the jammer line there by 366. Jean Lane, lead jammer status going to Wildberry Punch. 10 feet behind her, though, Phoenix Buns.
Jean Lane going to the penalty box for that hit. And Wildberry Punch going to see what she can do here. We'll see if she calls it off quickly or if she's going to rely on her defense. No, she's going to call it off quickly.
0. No points for either jammer. Wildberry Punch wants 1 point, which would give her the points for the penalty box skaters, too. She thought she passed Kielbasa for Ohio. Unfortunately, it's by the hips and not the head, and it looked like she was leaning forward like she was running a race.
The referee says, no, you did not get your hips passed. As Charlie Hustle going to hustle to the line here and try to get things in the late rally for Dairyland, but Hellion Boy going to try and bring it home. We're approaching the 3 minute mark.
Kitty Lickerbottom for Ohio picking up another intentional fourth minor, so we'll probably see her jamming here within the next 3 minutes.
And the jam is underway. Charlie Hustle with a skip on the inside, gets through for lead jammer status. Takes a look back as Hellion Boy still in the pack. Now she gets through without too much difficulty, so Hellion Boy can limit the damage here.
Hellion Boy freed up by her blocker, Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings. We have a 2-wall up front for Ohio. Pippi Rip-Your-Stockings and Lorraine Acid, a 2-wall in the back. PIMP and 15, Mac the Knife. That jam is called off as both jammers came around turn 4. 2 points for the Dairyland Dolls.
Actually, I believe it was 3.
I didn't see the thumb, yes.
The thumb is difficult. I have trouble with it myself.
3 points. Good job there, though, by Charlie Hustle and Dairyland Dolls on that, getting all max points there.
And good job by Hellion Boy as well to limit the damage, keeping the score 132-97. Things looking good for the 10 seed to move up in the rankings here. Phoenix Buns taking the line, the captain for Ohio up against Wildberry Punch, who has been a power today. Go ahead.
Oh, this is where the captain really steps up her game as she shoots right around the kneeling block of the Dairyland Dolls, right around the outside of turn 1. She quickly becomes lead jammer halfway around the track. Wildberry Punch gets free on her initial pass. 2 skaters in the pack for both squads.
A 5-second difference between the jam clock and the game clock right now. 5 more seconds on the game clock as Wildberry Punch being held up there by Lorraine Acid. Nice blocking by her. But Wildberry Punch finally gets through.
Kitty Lickerbottom released from the penalty box for Ohio. She will shortly here be joined by her teammate Handlebars. 4 points for Wildberry Punch. Meanwhile, Phoenix Buns continuing to score for the Ohio Roller Girls. She's got Jean Lane now getting hit by Twisted Halo. Phoenix Buns playing defense now as she hits the jammer Wildberry Punch into the inside portion of the track here at turn 4. Phoenix Buns now playing defense, Mumble.
She's just trying to kill clock here, bringing home the victory for the Ohio Roller Girls. 2 more points for Madison, but 2 points for Ohio as well. We are under a minute to play. We will get one more. We're going to get a timeout and possibly 2 more jams, probably 1. We'll see how this pans out, as that was Madison's last timeout.
Yes, and I can only assume that she picked up the intentional minor for a reason, that we're going to see Kitty Lickerbottom on the jammer line for Ohio. We do, as she puts the star cover on her helmet. She'll be going up against jammer that is Chop Susie. Thought maybe we'd see Mouse. She may have a little bit of foul or penalty trouble that we're not seeing Mouse. Otherwise, I was going to say we'd see Wildberry Punch, but I think she's just jammed 3 times in a row.
She has. She's been a workhorse for Dairyland out there. But Chop Susie, the veteran, takes the jammer cap up against Kitty Lickerbottom. Going to try and bring it home here for the Ohio Roller Girls, up by 35 points. We did see a 34-point jam this weekend.
And really all Kitty's got to do to preserve this is not do anything, Brian.
Right.
Just don't get into trouble.
Right. Just stay on the track and things should be okay.
I'm looking at this is the clutch pack for Ohio. We have Bratislava Bruiser, Amy Spears, Pippi Rip Your Stockings, and Lorraine Acid in the pack for Ohio. And like I said, in the last 6 years, Amy Spears in the green helmet there at the front of the pack for Ohio has never missed a single bout, whether it be for personal reasons, injury, work-related issues. Never missed a single bout in 6 years.
The Cal Ripken of the Ohio Roller Girls.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Brett Favre of roller derby minus the dirty texting, but
how do you know about that part? Never mind. We've got Chop Susie and Kitty Lickerbottom out there on the jam. Pippi Rip Your Stockings holding off Chop Susie, but we've got a lead jammer. It's Chop Susie.
We're gonna go a full 2 minutes here, Bryant.
Probably, I would definitely think Chop Susie's gonna stay out there as long as she can, extend this game to its fullest extent.
Amy Spears being sent off there at turn 1 for a penalty. She hasn't missed a bout, but she's going to miss the end of this one as she spends probably the last remaining time in the penalty box.
Lorraine Acid collides with Chop Susie. Chop Susie absorbs the hit, but Lorraine Acid still making noise out in the pack, taking out Busta Crimes. And Chop Susie on a scoring pass, gets through the pack. That's 5 points for the Dairyland Dolls. Kitty Lickerbottom still in the pack.
Yeah, she needs 25 more in the next 50 seconds here, so I don't think it's going to happen.
Actually 30, but she gets through with a skip over the apex.
That was sweet.
Now she needs 25 points in 42 seconds.
She jumped turn 4 here right in front of us, Bryant. That was a great derby athletic move there.
And here comes Chop Susie on her 3rd scoring pass here.
Kitty Lickerbottom now free at the front of the pack. She's going to get hit maybe one more time there by one of the Dairyland Dolls, and I'm not sure what they're going to call. They're calling a low block on number 15, Mac the Knife. Looked good to me.
And Chop Susie on her 3rd scoring pass here. The clock winding, 15 seconds left in this entire bout. As Kitty Lickerbottoms clears the pack.
The Ohio faithful, Columbus brought a lot of fans with them here today. Only a 3-hour drive from Columbus to Indianapolis. As Kitty Lickerbottom winds this clock down, this one is in the books. We have, Chop Susie is upset. She's actually crying and being consoled by her teammates, but a fantastic effort by both squads. Big props to the Mad Roland Dolls all the way from Madison, Wisconsin, putting forth a great effort. Great job by Ohio, wanting to impress the nation. They jumped from number 10 to number 9.
They do move up in the rankings for the Ohio Roller Girls. The Dairyland Dolls falling a little bit. They've got to be a little upset with that, falling from 6 all the way down to 10. Chop Susie, a veteran. She came out in the last jam. I'm curious if this is her last game. She seemed a little emotional there at the end.
But a win for Ohio here really gives them some momentum going into the 2012 season. I know they've already got their schedules pretty much laid out, the dates they want to play. They're going to play another full schedule with difficult teams that hasn't been released yet. But during my conversations with the captain and coaches for the Ohio Roller Girls, they're really looking to up their game and be a regular staple here at the North Central Region playoffs.